Hello and welcome back to Saber Outdoors. My name, of course, is Mark Alexander, your wonderful host. And today, guys, we are testing knife versus knife. Guys, we are going to take Ozark Trail and Kentucky Cutlery Company, and we're going to pit them face to face. Now, I'm going to get our competitors right here, and we're going to give them a quick look before we start testing. Now, this is the Ozark Trail knife. This is of course, both of these are fixed blade knives. This is the same knife you would have seen me use in the yard sale multi-challenge. I picked this up at a yard sale for not that much money. No rust whatsoever, no defects that I can see. Guys, came with a sheath, which I was very happy about, and we will talk about that sheath later. But Ozark Trail, of course, is Walmart's store brand. That is the brand that they use for basically anything and everything that they just want kind of the big umbrella for their discount items that are store brand. It's either Ozark Trail or Great Value. But guys, let's look at our other competitor. We have the Kentucky Cutlery knife. Now, guys, I'm gonna give this knife a look and see what it's all about. We'll talk about the sheath later. For now, I'm just gonna set it down. Guys, nice feeling knife in the hand. It's got paracord wrap, but I can already see I can't get this off without cutting it, and I'm not sure where to cut it to get the most benefit. And if I'm out in a, not necessarily survival situation, but if I'm out in the woods, if I need to cut this to get it off, what do you think I'm gonna use to cut it with? A knife, duh. And if this is the only knife I have, I'm just out of luck. So already one feature that I can't take advantage of is this paracord wrap. Now, while I can't take advantage of it for the paracord, it does give me a nice purchase on my weapon, of course. It has this little place for your finger, but it's a mite small for my hands. Maybe it's okay for plugs. It may be okay for somebody with a little bit smaller hands, like maybe a woman or maybe a teenager, but for my big man hands, I'm afraid that this little corner right there is gonna go whoop and split me open. Also, this has a gut hook on it. I know that somebody somewhere out there says that they love a gut hook. They would want a gut hook all the time. But I'm not a gut hook fan, because most of the time I'm using my knife for camp things, not hunting things. So a gut hook is just kind of extra wasted space, in my opinion. Now, I do have me a sheet of paper here, and I do want to quickly test my gut hook. Is my gut hook sharp enough to cut rather than rip? Are you gonna cut? Are you gonna cut? No, you're just gonna rip. Okay, cool. So gut hook is not sharp, and I mean, you could probably take a chainsaw file and sharpen it up, but why? When you have the blade, this is like, I think it's a 6-inch blade. Look how much different the difference is. Let me get on a different part of the paper. How much better that is. And that's straight out of the box. I did not sharpen this in any way. And we're going to test that to see if it does that at the end. And while we're doing that, let me put this knife away and let me try my luck with the other knife to see if it also will do that same deal. So we got a sheet of paper here. It will, but not as easily. Yeah, I mean, it will, but it's a bit finicky. But see, this has that same finger well in it, but it's so much larger. See how it fits my finger so much better? I like that a lot better before we've gotten into anything else. But guys, let's get you down on the table, you know, so you can see the chopping block that we're using, and we're gonna try our luck whacking a stick. All right, guys, so no preamble to this. This is a dry stick straight out of a fire pit, and you can see my hands are dirty from where I grabbed it out of that fire pit. But you know, it's strong, you know, it's not like it's rotten or crumbling. But guys, we're gonna take 4 whacks with each knife and see what they do. We're gonna start with the Ozark Trail knife, and we're just gonna do 4 whacks. So let's get ourselves right here, and 4 times. That didn't do a ton, so we're gonna do 10 whacks instead. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're gonna kind of work our chips out of there. So yeah, it cut. It did something. But this, of course, is a light knife. This also is probably, just getting them both directly next to each other, you can see it's a very one-to-one comparison. You know, one knife has a little bit longer handle, which gives it a little bit more length. But guys, that's 10 shots, and you can see what that does to it. So let's get our other knife up here. Let's put our first knife away. Let's get our other knife up here. And I feel very secure holding this, so we're gonna give it 10 shots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're gonna kind of clean our chips out. I have to admit, looking it over, that the Kentucky Cutlery knife, it did a tiny bit better, but not a lot better. Now, as far as like which one was more comfortable to wield, this has a bigger length of handle. Even though this little part here is not as big, the handle itself fits my hand really nicely. And like I said earlier, that paracord wrap gives me a good purchase. But that's another way of saying that this is bad. Now, I will tell you that this has developed more play in the handle. Now, if you watch that video we first used this in, you'll know that play, a little bit of it was there already, but it seems like it's picked up just that nth more. But guys, let's try something else. All right guys, so what we're gonna do, get a good hold on it and try not to stab yourself, because I have done that. Let's stick it in there, and we just need that to sit there. We don't necessarily have to have it stuck. And we're gonna make some feather sticks. So we're just gonna pull this along. This would be more optimal if we had something a little bit more solid, but we're working with what we got. All right guys, so you can see we have some reasonable feathers. They're not very long or elegant, of course, but how's our edge look? The tip looks like it's a little bit dulled, but the edge doesn't look like it's got any chips or anything out of it. Guys, let's try our luck with the other knife. Again, with a very secure hand. And we're same stick. We're gonna move down the stick some, and we're gonna see how it does. That dude wants to dig in there deep. Let me move to a different part. All right. So again, we got a decent amount of feathers on this. Now, I will say that this knife wants to dig a lot more deeply than the Ozark Trail knife. Now, that's probably a difference in the grind. You can see this only has the grind ends way up here at the top of the knife, where this grind ends halfway up the knife. So it's a steeper grind, and that's probably why it wants to take more of a chunk out, because it's got more angle. But guys, let's clean our stuff off here. And let's just see how these do with something different. All right, guys. So what we have here in this little sandwich bag, we have dryer lint. Now, dryer lint is one of the absolute best tenders that you can use, and most people, unless you're like me and did not have a dryer for a while, most people have access to dryer lint. You can see, nice and fluffed up. We're gonna see if the spine will spark off of this right here. We're not gonna shave any magnesium off at all, but we're gonna see if the spine will send some sparks off. Let's just try it real quick without anything there. So let's just, so yes, it will send sparks off. Let's see how easy it is to get a small fire going. So let's get our thing up there. And we're going. Not that bad. It does feel a little bit awkward with the way this knife is swept up. It feels a little awkward to make that motion, but it does work. You can see fire achieved, not a problem. And guys, we're gonna get this fire took care of, and then we're gonna make another fire. All right, guys, we got our first fire away, and our stuff is completely ready to go again. Got us another chunk of dryer lint. So we're going to get this dryer lint all to pieces and as fluffy as we can get it. Well, as fluffy as I'm going to work at it. Okay, we got that ready. Again, let's take a second and see whether this will make a spark. Oh, it makes a really good spark. I bet we won't have to do that twice. Three, four times. Not bad at all. This did a far better job than the Ozark Trail. Guys, that would be great in the middle of a situation. So guys, definitely a big win for the for this particular knife. But guys, we're gonna again take care of our fire, make sure it's out before we go anywhere else. And we've got one more test, and then we're gonna see if they retain their sharpness at the end. All right, guys, we've come to the last test. Actually, it's not what I would think of as a test, but it is. On Fortune Fire, they would call this the strength test. But guys, I'm gonna take both of these knives, I'm gonna set them on these pieces of wood, so, and then I'm gonna take this big piece of wood and I'm gonna whack the fire out of them for, we'll say 10 whacks each knife. But guys, let's get it set comfortable for me, because you got to take care of yourself. But let's give her 10 good whacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about to cut through, so we'll move to a new spot. 7, 8, 9, 10. Violent, I know. But hey, we got us a nice flat notch if we needed it. But guys, 10 whacks. And there's a little bit of, that may be from where I struck the fire steel. Looking at it real close, I don't see any issues. It seems like it stood up just fine, and my looseness in this handle hasn't come any worse, which is important. So let's put this one up and grab the other one. All right, guys, other knives here, and we're gonna get it same treatment, 10 whacks. 5, 6, 7. Well, guys, 10 whacks. Let's ease it out. I must have hit a pocket of moisture because my knife's wet. So is this. That's weird. But, guys, let me get things cleaned off, cleared up, and let's get a look at it real quick. The paint's kind of coming off of the thing a little. But again, I don't see anything that's really screaming at me, ah, don't do that ever again. You know, it's not like if I were hitting steel on steel, you know, that of course would definitely be a, ah, don't do that again. But guys, nice deep cut. Probably at this point we could, yeah, we can just break that up off there, which I say that and you could probably, yeah, you can do the same with the other as well. But guys, let's get our piece of paper back out off of the ground, and let's see if these are as sharp as they were whenever we started. All right, guys, now remember that neither one of these were superstars doing this to begin with. So let's take our first knife. It doesn't want to do it as easy. Let me try coming in just tip first. Yeah, she'll still cut. She's not been hurt by our minor abuse. Let's check our other knife. Again, doesn't appear like it's been hurt by our minor amount of abuse. So good knife, good quality knives. Can't argue against either one of them just yet. But we're gonna wad this and make sure to take it with us, because that's the way we do things on this channel. We do not leave trash for somebody else to take care of. But guys, let's talk about our knives. So the whole package, so knives and sheaths. I'm going to start off with the Ozark Trail first. Now, the handles loosened a little bit, I feel like, during our first test, but they haven't loosened anymore, and I don't feel dangerous wielding this. You know, the knife hasn't, you know, the scales aren't broke, and in no way do I feel like this is now a non-functioning knife. My edge is still smooth. My spine is still fine, except for right there where I was striking my striker. It's a little bit shiny there. Now, the sheath, which I said I would talk about later has now come. Now, the sheath is a really good quality sheath. It has plastic liners in it, and it has 1, 2, 3 rivets. Now, why are those rivets important? The rivets are important because as I take this knife in and out, I'm going to, especially right here, I'm going to eventually use that sawing motion and start cutting the sheath out. I'm going to ruin the sheath just by the natural in and out of this motion. But this has plastic liners, and can I take these liners out? I haven't actually tried to do this. I might be able to take the liner out of this. If I had a pair of pliers, I could take the liner out, and that would be even better, because then I could clean the inside of this. Say I have it in some kind of dirty, nasty condition, I'd be able to clean the inside of the sheath. I would like it if that was a thing, but I can't prove that on this particular day. But I really like the way this sheath is constructed, and our knife held up relatively well. Now, the Kentucky Cutlery knife. The knife itself did better than I was expecting. Guys, after testing, we've tested Kentucky Cutlery things on the channel before, and I was expecting this to be cheap garbage trash. I truthfully was. I'm not gonna lie or act like it was any other way. This was not something I bought for myself. This was a gift from my brother, and I'm very appreciative of that gift. But guys, I like the feel of this knife. I wish this paracord, I could actually take it off and use it, but I can't. Now, this sheath. This sheath is not as nice as the Ozark Trail because there are no rivets. So as I'm taking this in and out, look, just that much, and I've already cut an inch worth of this sheath, and I have no rivets to keep me from cutting it more as I continue to use this knife over and over and over again. I will repair this later, but I just wanted to show you that so that you understand why rivets are a really big deal in my world. But guys, as far as which one of these wins, that's a really difficult... I thought there was something coming behind me. That's a really difficult question to answer. Now, as far as doing feather sticks, did better. As far as lighting the fire, this one did better. Chopping, they were kind of even, and the same for the cutting the paper. They were pretty well even in that. So honestly, it's just a preference at this point. And if I were to choose, I'm going to choose based on the sheath. So this sheath on the Kentucky Cutlery is inferior. So I'm going to give the edge to the Ozark Trail. But guys, I'm going to bring you back up to see my lovely face, and we'll talk to you a little bit more. All right, guys, so we have our winner, the Ozark Trail. And guys, if I were to have these two knives in front of me, this is the knife I would pick. So that's all I have to say on the subject. At this point, I just want to thank you so very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification, and subscribe, man. It only takes a second. You just have to do the thing, and it helps me. It does nothing but help me. Most of you all watching don't subscribe, and it kills me. It kills me, it kills me, it kills me. But please subscribe so I can hit my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, somewhere in the woods or on the water.